August 23rd, 2010. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, show 95.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go.
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
So welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio. I am Murdock, and with me is John and Steve. Brian is unavailable right now. Brian is sick with mashed potato Johnson's disease.
So here in spirit form only.
Yes. He broke out in chives. It was awful.
Oh. Sad part is he's probably the one who would like that joke.
I'm sure there's a bunch of potato puns we could
it's
throw
in memorandum.
So, anything we want to add before we actually start this mess?
Actually, I do know about the chicks text messaging you, because there was this girl that she just kept text messaging me all the time, and it was funny. It was in reply to Twitter.
Really?
So I would tweet something, and then she would text message to reply to it. I'm like, okay.
Does she like you?
I think she did.
Why didn't she tweet back?
I don't know, because obviously she was able. I didn't understand what's going on there. I didn't really know. That was part of the problem.
They were all private text messages, not suitable for public consumption.
No. Well, some of them were like, lol, I agree.
Well, I can see why you would want that private.
I don't really understand.
So any other?
You got to keep that kind of shallow shit off Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to explain to folks that were reluctant to get on Twitter. Was like, yes, 99% of Twitter is full of people tweeting about their poop, but there's the 1% that has interesting tweets about their poop. And those are the ones that you need to follow.
Oh, okay.
Like Jonathan Colton just had a poop. Had an interesting idea for a song about poop.
That's some great poop there, Steve.
I think I'll just wait for the poo song.
The straight poop.
By the way, all this poop talk will not be the Photoshop for this episode. So,
God, I hope not.
Yes. So first,
Mr. Hanky, you could do some more copyright infringement.
Oh, I could.
Yeah.
Isn't like all the news items have copyright infringement to begin with?
No, they're fair use because you're critiquing and
you can't copyright facts.
Yes.
We're using facts. When did that happen?
Well,
even better than.
Well, okay, so they're alleged facts, which would get us in trouble in Britain.
Okay. So first up, BioShock Infinite announced it's a prequel to the original BioShock, taking place in a sky city in the year 1912.
Oh, great! It's like it's an adaptation of Poco Rosso.
No, it's totally an adaptation of the steampunk one. The Akira guy did.
Yeah. I know you're talking
the
about
Akira guy,
Castle in the Sky, dude. No.
You mean Steam Boy?
Steam Boy. Yeah. It's totally a ripoff of that because it's like a flying city, world fair, same time period. I don't know if it's a ripoff or not, but there's a lot of similarities.
There's a strange amount of similarity. They're going to look at it and go, we like to assimilate a lot of different influences, and then they're going to look at it and go, shit.
So I'm sure
there is supposedly a sequel to Poco Rosso coming.
Yeah, I heard.
Or at least he said he wanted to work
that.
on it.
Yeah,
which would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, he didn't seem too confident about the commercial success of it, though. It's like, well, I got two plans. Either we make Poco Rosso and it does well, or we have plans for drawing up the dissolution of Ghibli. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, and I think the other part of that was also the what happens when Miyazaki croaks plan.
Well, that's probably True.
They already have plans. They're just going to input his brain into that giant Gundam model that's out of out of Bandai's headquarters.
And it will suddenly decide to love farming.
Possibly.
Yeah, they'll bring in what's his name? They'll bring in Shiro as their consultant to get his brain into some other sort of.
And all they have to do is find him.
Unfortunately, Miyazaki will pass away while Shiro is explaining everything to everyone. They'll be like,
Well, I'm sure Shiro will have a design document with kanji that hasn't been in use for like 300 years.
It'll have Shiro and it'll be up at a podium and it'll look like the General Assembly and everybody's trying to understand what he says.
All right, so next up, Microsoft to make games for mobile phones, which is awesome because we've always wanted to play Halo Waypoint on our cell phone.
So is this just saying that Microsoft is making games in addition to the 20 other publishers?
Well, they are attempting to bring Xbox Live games to Windows 7 devices.
Yeah.
Hope they did a better job than the live PC version.
Really?
Windows Live.
Yeah.
Didn't really pan out that well.
So
it is nice when I'm playing Fallout. I can see when other people are online.
This is all XNA based stuff, so it's the same platform they used for the Zune. It's the same platform they used for the indie games.
How would that work out?
Well, there's been some good indie games on XBLA. And
they
had Hexic on the Zune, which is the only one that it needed.
The Zune thing is the best thing that came out of Zune was Zune-chan.
Really?
Never saw that one.
No, I didn't. I missed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She was a fairly popular cam whore on B about 2 years ago. Because she had a Zune. She did interesting things with.
Is there such a thing as a fairly unpopular cam whore?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there are.
Okay. So
the news about this one is the one major publisher who didn't sign up was EA. Which
Really?
is kind of a weird exception.
Well, I don't know.
They're too busy, jerking people around about StarCraft. They couldn't get around it. They're busy.
They couldn't even
StarCraft?
throw out some crappy cell phone game port.
No.
Hey,
doesn't fit on a 15 megabyte upload.
So they couldn't break out like one of their old titles, like Archon or
Yeah.
that'd be pretty awesome, actually. They should get on that.
Every once in a while, you hear a rumbling about them redoing Archon.
All right.
Then it goes away.
So next up, PlayStation Phone running Android 3 out by October. Maybe we've heard about the PlayStation Phone before, so this is kind of like, I'll believe it when I say it.
Was there actually a picture, or was there just fake mock-up?
Well,
shit?
the fake mock-up that was really, really good was over on Gizmodo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess imagine a PSP Go, but the ability to make phone calls and...
You don't have it here of the guy who put up the video of I totally hacked the PS3 by using a debug thing.
Yeah, and there was news today that apparently the PS3 can now actually see that you have that drive in there and will ban your PS3 from its network.
Well, I mean, that little drive thingy those little drive thingies exist.
Yeah.
They use them to repair stuff by putting them in the debug mode. Putting something in the debug mode doesn't make it any harder to, for a person who's not in debug mode to use their PS3 to play their wares.
But so that means people can play pirated shit now, huh?
Yeah, if they have one of those little things.
How hard are they to get?
I don't know. I don't know anybody that's selling them. Yeah.
There probably will be somebody soon.
Maybe.
And of course, there also has to be an interest. I mean, is there any game that you want to pirate and play on a PS3 that you don't own?
Well, I don't have a PS3, so you're asking the wrong guy. I'm just saying that, it doesn't seem to me like anybody's made anything new because those USB key already existed internally.
So next up.
Now, one might argue that you don't want to get, who cares if you get banned from PlayStation Home? But
is PlayStation Home still around?
The argument has been put forth that being banned from the PlayStation's network is not that big of a bad thing to have.
Well, it's not like they have a network to begin with. But let's move on. share your eroge escapades with your friends on Twitter. And for those who don't know, the eroge is erotic smut games.
So this needs to default to on and just go into your registry and find your Twitter password for whatever client you might be using and never ask for permission, because then it'll be awesome.
It'll be just like, what was that, Twitter proficiency or whatever the hell that was.
So in this...
What's your Twittification?
I don't know. I didn't take that.
Yeah, good idea.
The eroge company Moonstone has integrated Twitter into their erotic game Angel Ring. Now people can tweet and reply while in game, so they can describe their current erotic scene faster than ever.
Well, if their Twitter account is in English language, if we actually data mine for that, we can actually find the real identities of the regulars on /JP.
And how do you plan on making money with this plan?
We can market
blackmail.
Yeah, we can market more Vocaloid stuff to them.
I know you like K-On! Houses.
Yeah.
So moving...
Have some more Toho.
Amazon would have to be willing to pay for that recommendation information, right?
Yeah.
No, more like J-List.
Something.
So next up, Wii getting a tablet peripheral. It's not from Nintendo, but it's from THQ. But the Wii does seem to be getting a lot of things except video games.
What are we? What's this tablet supposed to be?
It's
for?
like a tablet that you draw on.
Oh,
I mean, not
on
as
your Wii.
With
your
Wii.
So this is like a DS emulator for the Wii then.
Yeah, it's PictoChat for your Wii. That didn't come out quite right. So
yeah, that name's not getting any better, Nintendo.
No.
We're like 5 years in
Yeah,
now.
the jokes still keep coming, so to speak.
So if you want Whack-'em on your Wii, oh wait, that doesn't work either, does it?
Wii jokes keep coming.
Hey, hello.
Yeah, so to speak. If you get what I mean.
Nope. So next up, Microsoft Flight Simulator coming back, sort of. So it's not called Flight Simulator, it's simply called Flight. So that's all we know. It's coming out on PC, but maybe it'll come out on the Kinect. And then you can have your arms stretched out and pretend like you're flying.
Well, no, it's Flight Simulator, so you'd just be virtually toggling 300 switches.
Yes. Well, there was a lot of prospective bawing about this.
Really?
Yeah.
Bawing about what? The fact that Flight Simulator is coming back, or?
I don't know. Apparently, they seem to think that really they can only make it worse.
Well, if you're just calling it Flight, it seems like they might be alienating the 10 people who still play it.
That have like those really elaborate
Have the
custom
6
setups.
monitor setups just so they can have all the instrument panels up on screen.
I'm sure they can pick up the old Jane's Flight simulators on eBay. I don't see why this is a problem.
Yeah. It's like the same folks that are like really hoping against hope that Jumpgate Evolution is going to come out because they bought this gigantic enclosure to play it in.
Is this going to start into like the Diehard Gamer Radio drinking game? It's like every time we mention Jumpgate Evolution, take a shot.
I was trying to get Sarlacc to go up and look for some Jumpgate Evolution info for me, but none was forthcoming, which kind of made me sad.
That doesn't really surprise me too much. You want to bring up Huxley while we're at it?
Sure.
Okay.
But you already did.
All right. So
that's all the news there is.
We have a title for the game. So speaking about Microsoft stuff, Age of Empires Online announced, which I don't know, does that interest any of you?
So is that going to be a massively multiplayer RTS? Or?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this going to be the first one of those with like a real budget and publisher?
Sure. Maybe. If it comes out. I don't know.
Well, they had a beta sign up already. Did you sign up for it?
No.
John? Steve?
No.
I think Brian might have.
I remember him saying he tried. But I think there was failure involved in the process.
Failure in signing up for a beta? I've never heard of that one before. So
hopefully they will learn from the other RTSs that failed miserably in the MMOs, scene. It's sort of like Trade Wars, where like you would take all your turns and you logged off and you came back and your empire is in smoldering ruins. Apparently, that's pretty much how the MMORTS scene has gone up till now.
Is this coming from personal experience?
Nope, just a lot of people bitching about it.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you can play 24/7, you can be
Yes.
successful.
To the point where they sort of some games had players that did the Eve thing, where they had alliances that spanned all time zones
Right.
that they would coordinate each other with. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work for nothing.
Then you can just keep poking your enemies until they log off.
Yep.
That's some great clicking there, Lou. So next up, this would have interested Brian, but it does interest me. Cave, my favorite developer here, announcing 5 games on a real system, which is not an iPhone. So just to go down the list real fast, it's Guwange, Dodonpachi Daifukatsu, Mushi Mushi Pork / Pink Sweets on one disc, and Dangon Feveron. So those interest me greatly.
Which of them are new?
Well, they're all arcade games. They all came out on the arcade, but they're all new to the Xbox. Is that what you're asking? Or are you talking about like an actual original IP?
Yeah, like a new game.
No, they're all.
Okay.
How many of these were made first in the last 3 years?
I think Dodonpachi Daifukatsu was made in the last couple years. But I think the rest of these are like over 3 years old, I believe. So, but
Glad you're excited then.
well, I do
Old
like
news
my
is exciting. Old games are also exciting.
hey, I support their schmuppiness.
Or their sort of gradual porting of shmups
Well,
that you may or may not have already played,
well, if you haven't played it, it's new to you. Okay.
I guess.
So Ratchet and Clank all
New
for
to me forever.
So Ratchet and Clank All for One announced, which is a co-op online Ratchet and Clank, which would probably interest John.
I do like a good co-op game, but I've never really gotten excited about the Ratchet and Clanks. I don't know why.
They don't have very compelling characters.
That might be it.
And what does?
I played
like
Jack
Sly
and
Cooper?
Dexter, and maybe that was just the thing that satisfied my playing cartoon kids game for this decade.
Yeah.
So no interest in that. So no love on that. It's not a lot of love this podcast. This one might bring some love. Ubisoft announces Fighters Uncaged for Kinect, which I guess if you want to play UFC in your living room or something that's equivalent to it, you can.
Your thing for this is wrong. It's sweaty dick punching.
Oh, I just have ball punching, but it's actually sweaty dick punching. Well, thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
This does have the potential for a great deal of hilarity.
Could.
I'm waiting to see all the broken television shots.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just waiting for the video of someone just crouched down, just punching thin air.
Well, yes. It'll be funny because it'll be like frat boy gamers playing it. Because there's no no otakus are going to sit around and play this game. It's not, let me put down this visual novel and play some UFC Kinect.
I do think
Unless
this
there's
is
a visual
like,
novel on the Kinect.
Now,
stand-up
see, now that
fighting
would be
game.
awesome.
Fate Stay Night on the Kinect. John is making a face that, unfortunately, this is not a video podcast because it would have been very, very interesting to show to our audience.
I don't think we want to see that.
I kind of like that idea. Can we patent that idea?
I don't think so, no.
Oh man! So get on that, developer of Fate Stay Night. Although on the Kinect, I think that's too
don't
much
think
effort
the-
for a hikikomori to really put into for a visual novel.
Wait, you were saying, Mr. Krukov?
I don't think the virtual boob grabbing is going to make it past QA.
Well, they can just it'll be like the age thing in
Dead or Alive?
yeah.
Oh,
DOA 2.
Where you put it to 99 and the
Yeah.
breasts flop like they're in zero
You
gravity.
win by default because she's struck herself in the head with her own gigantic breasts.
I've yet to see that in a Dead or Alive. So Tecmo, get on that. So next up, Resistance 3.
Are you sure? Did the Ninja Gaiden Virtual PS3 controller shaking boob action count?
No, it didn't.
No?
No, and I don't want to talk about it right now.
It's too traumatic.
Yes.
It's too soon.
So Resistance 3 announced for PS3, which probably doesn't interest anyone here because I don't care for the first-person shooters, but do you?
I mean, I like a good first-person shooter, but this is also a series that has been ignorable.
Ignorable?
Yep.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Okay.
There aren't very many hardcore Resistance fanboys.
I think it's just because it was a launch title. That's really how it got anywhere.
So, well, enough of that. Well, Lair was a launch title. Oh, wait.
Well, Battle Arena Toshinden.
It might have been one of the best of the launch titles. Might have even been the best launch title. It just wasn't a high bar.
Oh, okay.
If I remember, it might have been the only launch title.
So, next up, controversy arises over Taliban option in Medal of Honor. So,
blah, blah, blah.
So, the controversy surrounding players' ability to play as a member of the Taliban.
So
in
did they
EA's Medal
fly
of
to the
Honor
U.S.
multiplayer.
and shoot a bunch of people in an airport?
Yeah, apparently.
No.
Aw.
So it's okay for us to play the Japanese.
But it's not okay for us to play the Taliban?
Apparently not.
Is this some sort of weird double standard that...
Well, only for people that don't think too hard.
It's okay. They'll fix it so the Taliban can't win.
It'll be in a patch.
Yeah.
I see. So
it'll fix it so that when the good guys show up, the Taliban all flee to a different country. The only thing you can do is run.
Oh, that's excellent.
The metric is how long you can stay before a predator drone drops something on you. It'll all be very red-blooded American.
Okay.
There'll be trucks involved. Some sort of NASCAR sponsorship.
Oh. That's kind of a stretch there, Steve.
Rand Paul will have some sort of opinion on it.
Okay. Are you done, Steve? Have any more to add to this?
The people protesting will mistake the black guy for a video gamer or something.
Oh, okay. Ah, boy. So, Might and Magic Heroes 6 announced, which I don't know if there's any Might and Magic people around here. John?
Heroes is their strategic one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their tactical turn-based thing, right?
Kind of tactical, I thought. I was pretty sure you conquered cities and moved heroes around on a big world map and
remember.
stuff.
I can't
But
remember.
It's been a long time since they came out with one.
Yeah, we're talking close to a decade.
Maybe. So, yeah.
It's kind of weird that who's publishing this? Who has the rights to Might and Magic now?
I don't know.
Because whoever the hell has it is just well, we don't have anything to put out. How about Might and Magic? So who knows? Maybe
I mean,
did they say anything about? Do we have any information about it other than it was announced?
No, that's all we know so far.
So that worst thing is, sometimes people take old IP and it may make it cool, like Fallout.
True.
So I'm not saying that this will be the case, but
maybe they'll just put a coat of gloss over it and release 5 again. Because hell, if I can remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, have any of you played any of these games? Just out of curiosity.
Long ass time ago.
Yeah.
As you can tell by how much I remember about the game.
Was it on?
It's like asking me about Bard's Tale.
Was it on a 386 or a 486 the last time you played it?
Oh shit, I don't even remember. You're asking the wrong guy. At least they put out a Bard's Tale in 2005.
Really?
Yeah, they put out some weird re-release of Bard's Tale.
Huh.
Yeah, look it up. It was really kind of weird. It kind of flopped because all the people who really liked it probably
died.
Yeah, they're dead or they're in a nursing home or something, so they weren't really in any.
The game
position
is
to
not
buy
that old.
It is. The only people that could afford to play that game in 1983 were people that had jobs. You had to buy a Commodore 64, and then you had to dig up Bard's Tale, And
It came out on the 64?
yeah, I played it on the 64.
So-
I played a totally unauthorized, unpurchased copy of the Commodore 64 that had all the characters already leveled up as far as they could go because it saved, floppy disks. So it saved all the saved games on the game disc.
So you had to have the original to make a copy of it to start a new game?
Yep.
Ah.
So you didn't save to a blank floppy disk. It was actually on the game disc.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you copied the game disc, you got everybody's party too.
Ah. So any other old titles that you want to, bring to this new year and put a gloss of paint over them? I'm sure Battlecruiser 3000 hasn't been brought over yet.
Yeah.
They still need to do a Star Control sequel.
Yeah, I haven't done.
I thought they
those.
were. I thought they were going to do like a Star Control 3.
Yeah, but
4?
it'll be an MMO. And Shiro will do some artwork for it.
Yeah, they need to do 4, but that's because 3 doesn't exist. And
Right, it's like Highlander 2.
Oh. So other sequels I can think of, probably like sequel to F-11-18 Raptor.
No, they needed a sequel to Free Space 2.
yeah, that'd be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About time for a new Wing Commander game.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to have somebody who made a space sim in the last decade. That wasn't what the hell is it? Project Sylphid.
Oh. Wing
Was it Project Sylphid? Was that the name of that Squeenix one?
Yep.
How did they get the name Sylphid? How come Sierra Online or whoever owns them didn't sue the ever living crap out of them for that?
Because Sierra doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, but somebody owns the IP for Sylphid.
I think it.
Well, it must be Squeenix now,
And
right?
Thexter.
Thanks. Well, yeah,
And
because Square Enix did come out with a version of Thexter for the PSP.
Did they really?
Yes, they did. And the game sucks.
Well, Thexter wasn't all that great. It auto aimed.
True to the source.
It auto aimed for you in 1988. So
Yeah. Yeah, it
Sylphid was a
very
much
sad.
better game.
True.
Well, the original Sylphid was a much better game. Project Sylphid was just Macross missiles the whole time.
Just keep hitting that one button.
Yep. Wait for it's like any Squeenix game. You go through a bunch of combat and you wait for the cutscenes.
So that's awesome. So next up, Addicted Gamer sues publisher, says he's unable to function. And we're talking about the virtual world game Lineage 2. A Hawaii man became so addicted he is unable to function independently in usual daily activities such as getting up, getting dressed, bathing, or communicating with family and friends.
I'd be willing to bet since he plays Lineage 2, those things were true before he started.
Really, it takes a certain kind of sloth to really be able to play Lineage for more than an hour at all, ever.
Hey, you could.
So he turned himself into a hikikomori essentially, and he's suing people.
You could be the lawyer for the defense. I don't believe anyone could play this game for more than an hour.
Well, I mean, it takes longer than an hour, 3 times longer than an hour to install the game and get the updates. So
isn't World of Warcraft the same, especially when you have all the patches and everything?
yeah, but think of it this way: so World of Warcraft has Burning Crusade and then Lich King, right? So there's
And
3
Cataclysm
updates.
coming out
And right.
whenever.
So there's been 2 updates that are currently out, and if you install those, you get all the patches and stuff for the previous games when you install this. Lineage, as of the time that I played Lineage 2.5 years ago, had 5 expansions, and it was still 2 hours and 40 minutes or something to download all the updates for
That's
it.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and then after that, I played it for an hour and said, God, this game sucks. How can anybody play this? So basically, you know what the answer is for this guy? They need to export him to Japan, where there is an acceptance of his lifestyle.
They can use his keyboard prowess to generate electricity
Yeah.
for the local prefecture.
Yes. And then a mysterious young moe girl will show up at his door, and
And it's going to turn into a harem anime and everything.
Yeah.
We love your Lineage 2 playing skills.
Yeah. There's one girl with like a little crazy little hair thing.
Oh.
Can't remember what the hell the name of that thing is.
So
Starts with an E. There's actually a word for that. Did you know that?
Those hair antenna.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, or the one antenna that always has like the that expresses like the emotion of the person that has it. There's actually a name for it, and it literally translates as ridiculous hair.
Okay.
So Steve will be producing anime for Madhouse later on this year. Watch out for.
I'm supervising producer for the Iron Man.
So watch out for Hikikomori Hero coming out on
Hero.
Yeah, on NHK at 7 p.m.
Yeah,
it does sound cliched enough to fly.
Yeah,
it does.
Good. Well, really, I mean, you can sell anything so long as you make one of the characters moe enough. You can get some minimal reviews and sell some advertising.
Yeah, that's true.
Minimal ratings, rather.
And it's not like you need to have a very large animation budget.
Just don't make it too violent, or TV Tokyo won't run it. The TV Tokyo wouldn't run standalone Complex.
Really?
Yeah, they had to. The first time it got run on one of the satellite networks.
I didn't find that series that violent.
I mean, in the first episode, the Kusanagi blows the head off an android, but whatever.
But that's not violent.
I don't know.
It's all white goop everywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
that's not
pretty
violent. So, next up, Microsoft Kinect has furry support, which is awesome for probably one of our friends, and that's about it.
Pretty much.
So, if you wanted to play your
But more importantly, does it have couch support yet?
No.
Why
Well,
doesn't what's the you have to explain more. What's the deal with why do they support furries?
Well, I guess this was at Gamescom in Germany, where someone in a fursuit was able to play with the Kinect, which, it showed up on Kotaku. It's like, oh, now you can now play Kinect, and you can be in your fursuit and everything, and you don't have to worry about it.
It might be an untapped market.
Well,
It's somewhat interesting from an algorithmic standpoint because it doesn't assume that you have a normal humanoid form. When it does
Or at least you could have a grossly deformed head and still play.
Well, and a big ass tail and like giant hands or something, and like.
Now, how does this affect when you play Milo?
Well, apparently you can't play Milo, so.
Oh.
Once again, Milo not intended for public use.
By the way, did you watch that video on TED?
I did not.
Oh. It's
I'm always afraid to watch the TED stuff because I'm always excited about the topics, and then I'm always afraid it's going to be like this tedious rambling. Like the only TED thing I ever heard that was any good was the Mike Rowe one.
The Peter Molyneux, that TED thing, it was interesting, but it was also creepy. And I mean creepy as in Peter Molyneux going, I want Milo to be like a real child. And I'm like, that's real
Molyneux
nice
is
there.
crazy and overpromises.
That's true.
That sounds in character.
Yeah, but I watched that. It's like, this is kind of sad on a level that I can't even describe how sad it is.
I just think that as a society, we will have jumped the shark when a Milo video game comes out and someone is arrested for corruption of youth by getting a hooker and having sex in front of their 360 while Milo watches.
So is there going to be like a virtual, was it Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, they
had to set your controller right over there.
Actually, they had a...
That would be entertaining. Instead of finding victims over Xbox or Live, it'll then be finding victims over Xbox Live.
Yes.
By the way, just on a very sad note, they had a marathon of To Catch a Predator, and I was watching it for some strange, bizarre... I don't know. Was that what
MSNBC was running this weekend?
Yeah, they were. They
ran
had
out of jail shows to run, so now it's To Catch a Predator.
Did you want to make sure you taped your appearance? What?
Yeah. What was that all about?
I was
like,
bored.
well, I might as well figure out how this works because eventually it's gonna come in handy.
Well, no. Well, what it was I saw it, and what I want
is that guy doesn't get shot one of these times.
Well, what it is
like, you want to sit over here? No, screw you.
Highest ratings ever.
Yeah,
but,
it'd be the best show they ever did.
But no, I was
Chips Hard On would.
Chips Hard On.
Have you seen that? Oh, 4chan has all these different iterations of Chris Hansen that have different names, and he'll show up with well, there's that Chris Hansen one where he's got the paper bag on his head with the eyes cut out that says anonymous on it. It's like, hello, anonymous, I would like to be on your 4chans.
But
my name is Chips Hard-Ons.
the only reason I watched it was this, I wanted to hear his catchphrase and then leave. I just wanted to hear him say, "Why don't you have a seat over here?"
And he never said it?
No, actually, he did.
Oh.
He's like, "Why don't you have a seat over here?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I came for what I wanted," and then for some weird reason, I just
kept watching it.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. I was not feeling well that day.
It was too close for comfort.
No, that show wasn't on, actually. I would have watched that because I really do enjoy the comedy stylings of Ted Knight and Jim J. Bullock.
Oh.
Wow, I'm really dating myself there.
I'm somewhat impressed that you were able to run with that joke. That takes some knowledge of obscure facts.
Well, my writers are just right outside the door.
I saw a commercial for some sort of diabetes thing with.
No, was it diabetes?
No, it wasn't Wilford Brimley. It was with one of the what was his name? It was one of the '80s TV dads, and he was the guy. He's kind of like a rectangle head, and he's got immovable hair, dark hair.
What do you mean, from Growing Pains?
I can't remember his name. Well, who's the actor that played it?
Alan something.
Yeah, Alan Thicke.
Why do I know that?
And he was on there, and he's credited as famous TV dad.
That's kind of sad.
I'm like, what? You didn't even tell what show he was on? I mean, it's been 30 years, but the people that they're selling this crap to probably remember him.
Well, yeah, with those guys.
I and my now 55-year-old son used to watch the show all the time.
And now he's a born-again Christian.
They all are. Just like Tawny Katane.
Kind of unfortunate, huh?
She didn't age well.
Well, so I've heard.
No loss.
Okay. So I heard, John, you had a news item you needed to throw in here?
Well, I was just curious about From Dust, and if you guys had watched the videos for that one.
Not yet.
I haven't even heard of it.
One of the main things they have for it is a volcano, which happens in real time. It's mainly you're a god, and you're trying to control this island and reshape the landscape in order to keep the people who live on it alive and to accomplish certain goals. Looks really pretty, truly dynamic. You do things like pick up a ball of water, drop it in a depression, and you get a lake. And you can actually carve out a channel, and the water will drain through it. Sounds pretty awesome.
Sounds like Populous.
But the other reason to get excited about it is it's from the guy who did Out of This World. So resurfacing 25 years later to make the next game.
Working with Alan Thicke.
So, and you also wanted to ask us about the Xbox Live Summer of Arcade.
Yeah. So what games have you guys played?
Steve?
I haven't played anything in the last month and a half other than Fallout 3. Because I was
It does take that long to play that game.
Well, I mean, I came to the conclusion that being evil is too easy in that game. It makes the game not very challenging. So I started a guy who's actually a nice guy.
Well, it's not hard to be
neurologically nice. He will always do the most paladinistic thing presented to him, and that's a significantly more challenging game.
It's really not that hard to be good through the whole game. I mean, basically, you defuse the bomb in Megaton, and you already got 500 points already.
Well, right, but I mean, and I'm like Wasteland Crusader or whatever. But to continue to do the most virtuous thing that you possibly can results in you doing a lot more work than if you were neutral or a bad guy.
I didn't have any problems with it, so I don't know.
It's not a matter of a problem. Did you play as a bad guy?
Yeah. I actually found it harder to play as a bad guy.
I did not find it hard because I could just take whatever I wanted. People would get pissed off, and I would kill them. Then the problem was solved. And not only that, but I found that there's somewhat of a crappy AI setup in that, wherein I went through Tenpenny and I killed all the security guards
Okay.
as a bad guy while I was living there.
Right.
And then I came back like 12 hours later, and nobody really cared. They're all nice to me again,
I guess it was your house.
I guess.
It
don't
was really just, make my day law in effect.
Yeah. It's very strange. I'm still trying to find out a way. There's that in Tenpenny Tower. There's that door to the subway.
Right.
To the things. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how you have to open that thing, because you have to apparently open it from
There's
the
a
other side.
whole ghoul quest you have to go through.
There's like a
that does
big
that
ass
whole
thing, and
Yeah.
then but apparently there's a bug where you can actually open it without going through all that thing. Like if you look at the wall a certain way, you can actually hit the console on the other side.
If you're going through good, you'll end up opening it.
Right.
Probably.
But the bad guy, you don't get that quest because you just say
Yeah, you just shoot a bunch of ghouls.
Yeah.
And you're done.
yeah.
It's
But apparently, if you open it without doing that quest, you open it up in the subway, and all these ghouls stream out and kill everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that's the good resolution to
I
that
see.
quest, because all the ghouls are like the oppressed underclass.
Gotcha.
and-
Well, apparently you can do that without doing that. You just have to hit the wall, and it clips wrong, and you can hit the console, and everybody comes out. So apparently, they're all just sitting there waiting to come in.
Yep.
It is, I think, Pittsburgh. What did they call that expansion?
The Pit.
The Pit. Yeah.
But, yeah.
They actually tried for some moral ambiguity there.
Hmm.
So good and bad is at least a little bit less well defined.
Hmm.
Rest of the game, though, pretty clear cut.
By the way, for the getting back to the Xbox Live Summer of Arcade thing, I picked up Castlevania, Harmony of Shallowness, or whatever they called it.
So is that game really just like multiplayer run to a boss and beat on him and do it again every 5 minutes? Or
There is running to a boss involved. You can play it multiplayer. I have chosen not to because I don't want all my power-ups stolen.
although it sounds like multiplayer is the redeeming feature of the whole thing.
Yeah, it is, from what I've been told. Up to 6 players. And I'm sure it's really awesome.
Single player not so good though.
I'll be honest, I've only played it. I've cleared stage 1 and I'm starting stage 2, and I haven't had time. I haven't had time to actually play it, so, I will play it eventually, maybe after NDK when I have time. But I'm not going to buy Xbox Live Gold to play it, and trying to find 5 other people to play it with.
So what's the game like then? I mean, what do
Have
you
you
do
played
with single player?
Castlevania?
Okay.
Have you jumped and
Yeah.
whipped candles and stuff? That's pretty much it. Except
Seems like it would be a very crowded screen with 6 players.
no, it's not. It's 6 players, but each it's not. You can't do like 6 players in front of the same screen. It's all Xbox Live, so it's each player has their own section of the castle, and you can press a button to actually zoom out and zoom in and see it where all your other buddies are.
So
the
is it
screen.
still the whole thing that like you have levels you're going through and you got to explore them and find your equipment and get to a boss?
Yes.
And
The only thing
are
is
they
that
preset?
you can't.
Are they random or
All the levels that I've seen so far are preset.
okay?
There's only 6 levels so far, but each level takes approximately 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the time limit for each level.
Okay.
Do you get to pick what portion of the castle you want to go through in co-op?
I don't know how that works.
But so it's like 6 people run around, you explore the whole castle and do everything.
Correct.
Okay.
And you cannot gain levels in the game.
Okay.
So not like the old Castlevanias, and it's a little bit more difficult because it was meant to be as a multiplayer game.
Right.
So if you're playing it single player, you're going to find that the enemies are actually a little bit tougher than normal, just simply because they were meant to be tackled by more than one person.
Doesn't scale, is what you're saying.
Not well.
Or at least the single player they added just because they had to.
Yes. Plus half the achievements you can't unlock unless you're multiplayer, which kind of sucks. But okay. So, and I know you picked up Tomb Raider.
Yeah, picked up the Lara Croft game. I've been playing that with my girlfriend, and it's really a great game. It hasn't been since Army of Two I've played a game that was so well built for multiplayer. That, you know, the puzzles and everything really work well for 2 players, are interesting challenges that you have to think through as a team. And the powers for the 2 characters they have are asymmetrical and both work well. So, and it looks really good. It's just a good game, and for $15, how can you beat it?
True.
I mean, it would be a good game for $60 off the shelf. So getting it for $15 seems like a good deal.
Yeah.
Also picked up Limbo, which if Braid didn't exist would probably be one of my favorite games.
Is it as pretentious as Braid?
It's all about atmosphere and mood, so it definitely has artistic aspirations.
Are the people who play Braid as pretentious as people who play Limbo?
Probably. It's got to be the same crowd. I mean, they're indie platformers.
Are they hipsters?
Probably. If hipsters can play video games. They probably play them ironically.
Okay. Well, thanks for clearing that up, Steve.
Yes. They play them, but they're not really into them.
Okay. Brule Story Co.
Yep. Brule Story Co.
All right. So now we have Care or Don't Care, our biannual feature that we do here on the podcast about games we might care or not care about. And the first one is Deus Ex Human Revolution. Do you care or not care about that? I personally never played any of the Deus Ex games, so I don't know anything about them, but I know there's some people that really like them. John?
It's been a long time since they made one.
I've never played any of them.
Really?
I know it's one I probably ought to go back and play, but it's definitely past the looks like ass boundary.
Well,
that's
I mean, it's been
graphics.
done. It's almost impossible to say anything about this game quality-wise because it's been so long since they actually, made another one.
It probably looks as good as Marathon. Oh, wait.
Well, there was 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
So there's
So
also 2 marathons.
okay. So no
3.
care.
Or 5.
You want to keep going there, Steve?
I don't know. They didn't have a Mac back then.
Well, yeah, you had what, an Amiga?
No, I never had an Amiga. I always wanted one.
You were one of those Apple II STs.
Commodore guy until I had a
Well, Commodore is an Amiga.
IBM. No, Commodore
No.
64. Commodore 128.
And Commodore bought Amiga
Yeah.
and then ran it into the ground,
Yeah.
along with the half dozen other companies.
But
But Commodore, I think, was the first ones to fuck it all up for Amiga.
I will like.
Yeah, Amiga's not really like it's just you don't want to buy that company. It doesn't bode well for your business.
I will like to add that I bought the Max Headroom DVD box set and found that a lot of the computer graphics were done on Amiga at the time. So
Well, shit, you didn't have anything else to do with graphics on except for
Well, it was
Amiga at the time.
1987. There was
There was the video toaster and there was the video toaster.
Otherwise, you were splicing tape somewhere.
It was
You were-
video
you
toaster
were
and
using
video
a-
toaster.
You were using a hot bar of soap and a razor blade to edit
Yeah.
your videos. So
Pretty much.
So next up, Red Faction Battlegrounds, which, John, have you?
I really liked Red Faction Guerrilla, but this doesn't sound like it'll have any of the things I liked from Guerrilla.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
too bad.
This sounds like it's just going to be multiplayer vehicle combat.
Blah.
I'm sure there's
Driving was entertaining in Red Faction Guerrilla, but not as entertaining as deconstructing the entire world with a hammer.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the best part of that game.
Ah.
And then having soldiers show up and then hitting them with a hammer. And then destroying their vehicle with a hammer.
So you guys don't care about this.
I'll play the demo and see if they screwed it up or not, but it doesn't sound like it's got the Red Faction-y bits I want out of Red Faction.
For those of you new to the podcast, this basically means that John won't buy it right away, but he will buy it when it becomes $19.99.
What's an XBLA title?
Oh, then never mind. When it goes on sale during the
Deal of the week.
Yeah, deal of the week. So, Crysis 2. Do we even have computers that can run it?
I understand the sysrecs are lower than the original Crysis.
Is that possible?
How is it not possible?
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, what did you need for it? Like Deep Blue to run it?
Yeah, there were NSA, clusters.
I think they're still
For run
working on
Crysis.
that business model deficiency of, well, the people who can afford a machine to run this know how to pirate our games.
Well, that is a problem.
Yes. So no interest in Crisis 2.
Also, apparently, one of the main problems with the original Crisis was that it wasn't very fun.
Well,
It was very pretty, and that's about it.
I think Brian cares about this game, but he's not here. Dragon Age 2.
That's because Brian needs something to justify upgrading his computer for.
Ah. So, Dragon Age 2. Steve, I know you're looking forward to this game, right?
I'll probably look forward to the intro part. That was the best part about Dragon Age. The
It
intro.
sounds like this one's going to be harder, better, faster.
Oh.
All action gamey and push all the role-playing stuff off to the side like Mass Effect 2 did.
I don't know if I'd like that or not. Because on one hand, I mean, there were some really cool parts about Dragon Age. On the other hand, well, I really, really enjoyed dying 75 times before I figured out what combination of characters I needed to use to beat this dude.
So,
I'm told that I was doing it totally wrong, and you just needed casters. You just spec everybody
Just
as
a whole
casters.
party of casters.
If you just do casters, you froze people and then nuked the hell out of them and then froze them again. Apparently that was what the deal was. Silly me trying to use a balanced party in order to do this sort of thing.
yeah.
You would think that would be the default normal difficulty level to get through at.
Yeah.
Not the die 75 times.
It was a very difficult game in some places. Some places it was all right. You were like, okay, I died once, but I know what I did wrong. And then there was that one dude just wiped all of us. That's great. Plus, it's one of those stupid games where I have 7 NPCs, but I can only bring 3 with me at any given time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, guys,
The rest hang out on the airship.
or someplace. Who knows? In Dragon Age, who knows where they hang out? You can swap them out at any given time, or they can camp, but you never see them wandering around. The camp moves along without the rest of you. So what? Like the road's only so wide, so you can only fit down some of you down there. I mean, it's just.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
I don't understand how that it went from, well, we can only support this many people on screen at a time to this is an integral part of this genre. And it really annoys me.
It worked okay in Mass Effect 2 because that was, also an action game. So if you had like 8 allies along with you, you wouldn't have anything to do anymore. And hey, you brought your ship along with you all the time, so that's where they stayed.
You just need to scale up the game a little bit is all.
I don't know. I mean, then you just end up with AI who are just incompetent. And you have like 2 rows of AI that just shoot ineffectually back and forth at each other like the World War II games till you come along and shoot everybody in the head.
And God forbid, and make sure that you have the friendly fire turned off.
Well, usually the NPC friendly fire doesn't do too much to you. Usually it's only the PC. Although you could turn friendly fire on and off in Dragon Age.
Yeah.
And man, you wanted to.
So next, Halo Reach around.
I should say the other problem with the Dragon Age was that you had these characters that were badass when they weren't in your party, and then they got in your party and they're all weenies. You had Morgan, who was like, holy crap, look at this, it's the Witch of the Swamp, blah, 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 blah. And you get her and like, oh, cool, she could turn into a giant spider that has almost no melee ability whatsoever.
So is Dante's disease.
Yeah.
We're always much better in cutscene.
Yep.
So, any interest in Halo Reach around?
I don't know.
What's the one I never bothered to play?
The
Wait,
ODST?
that's the last 3 Halo games.
I played Halo 3. I enjoyed it. I have ODST sitting on my table over there that I
And then isn't there
played.
like
Yeah.
the
And there's
RTS
also the
Halo
RTS.
Wars?
I didn't
Yeah.
play the RTS.
So we're still several Halo games behind, apparently.
I mean, it could be okay.
I doubt that.
Like I said, I enjoyed Halo 3, so.
And hey, he wants more dudes along, and that's what Halo Reach promises.
Yeah. More dudes.
By the way, are you guys picking up Gears of War 3 in April?
Is
Probably.
that when it releases?
Yes.
That's the release
April
date is April.
Okay. So I'll probably buy it in like November.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Depends on what I got going on in April.
Do you have plans?
I don't know. But if it's like a slow month, trade some in. Get it for $20. Something like that.
Trade in
Might be
Fable
okay.
2.
Trade in Gears of War 2.
None of them have disappointed.
Yeah, I hardly enjoyed. Gears of War 2 could have been longer, but whatever.
So could have Gears of War 1.
Yeah, it was a good ride while it lasted. Just didn't last long enough.
So between Gears of War 1 and 2, you have a complete game.
No. We might need that third one.
Well, I mean, Gears of War, basically.
It's that gripping story that you've come to love.
You show up, you get bitched at by the commanding officer. You pick up Carmine. You wonder when he's gonna bite it.
Hey, how's that contest going along?
Then you run down to down into the underworld, and shit happens, and then you go back up, and then you go back down again.
What is it? Doom?
Probably a couple of large bosses to fight along the way.
Yeah.
Sounds like Doom.
It's fairly formulaic.
So
we never played it for the story, really. It looks good, the gameplay is good, the boss fights are interesting. Something happens while you play it.
So real quick, what's the next game that you're going to be picking up here in the next month or so? Or is there anything that's coming out that's kind of tickling your fancy?
The main thing I need to buy is a new 360.
No, Jesus Christ. Okay. For those of you listening who are new to the podcast, and I'm sure there's a lot of you
who just signed up for this episode, it's we got a really captivating picture for this one, so I know it sucked you all in.
So, John, you have gone through. I need an abacus for crying out loud. You've gone through 22 Xbox 360s. No, which one is this actually?
This is my third.
I thought you had that one replaced.
So you're just waiting for the bow tie?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what to do about Microsoft's hideous accessory policy. Because you can buy one of the new ones right now, the 250 gig ones, for $300. The arcade ones are going to be coming out. And I'd actually prefer to get one of the arcade ones because they're matte instead of shiny fingerprinty.
Right.
But they also announced the prices for the 250 gig hard drive, which so far is the only option you could get to put in the arcade.
Yeah.
And they want $130 for it. Which, since the arcade's only $100 cheaper, starts making that a little rougher.
Yeah.
And I actually think Kinect sounds like fun and want to play around with that. So, but you can only get that in a bundle with the arcade for $300. Which is $50 off, the bundled price of the arcade and the Kinect. Yeah. And they don't have a bundle with the Pro and the Kinect. So I'm not sure which way I want to get screwed by Microsoft yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you get the glossy one, you can just knit yourself an Xbox 360 cozy.
Why knit it? He can probably just get one off Etsy.
But then you end up paying more for Kinect. So maybe I just buy one of the arcades, get a 16 gig flash drive, and don't worry about it. Not sure.
No, just write down the Xbox knob, Xbox SKUs, throw a dart, and that's the one you pick up.
I guess it kind of depends on, how much you think you're going to be downloading.
Well, I already have like 16 gigs worth of stuff. I mean, my 20 gig hard drive on my 360 has been having to be carefully managed for a while.
I am in a similar situation.
Yeah, I've got like 6 gig left.
Although I think they say there's 5 USB ports in the new 360, and you can have up to a 16 gig flash drive in each one of them and use those as storage.
Great. The back's going to be just DOS blinking lights. Make sure and get sticks that all have different LED colors in them. So when they access, you get like this Christmas light effect.
I don't think it's going to let me stripe across all of them.
It'll be a hack. If only Microsoft would have let us hack.
Well, if only they'd let you use more than 16 gigs off an external bit, because then, could just get a properly large size thing and not worry about it.
Well,
by the way, I'm still surprised that you have interest in Kinect. I mean, I don't know what game is making you want to pick up
Dance
Kinect.
Central looks like a good time.
Can you dance?
I'm still looking at the yoga thing. The yoga thing looks pretty cool.
I actually quite liked your self-fitness on the Xbox, and the sequel on Kinect is probably going to be a very good game.
Admit it, you're really just into it for Kinectimals, right?
Virtual kitten scratching.
He's in it for Fate's Day Night Connect.
Now that I know that's a possibility, gotta sign up.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Toho Revolution.
Yeah.
Mega 10 Revolution.
No, you know what would be awesome for Kinect would be like Trauma Center. That would be awesome.
Well, then I'd have the chance to play it.
Operation Room. Remember when IBM used to make games?
Yeah. Wasn't it called Emergency Room?
I don't remember. Something like that. Had a couple surgeons on the front.
Yeah.
With the mid 90s IBM.
I guess that really was the birth of that genre, though.
Yeah.
Every game on Kinect
came back a decade later.
Yeah.
Everything on Kinect's gonna end up like fucking Minority Report.
Well, what's the name of the Res game one? Res
Oh
sequel.
God. I thought that was Kinect or was that
Kinect.
I know which game you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of it.
That was also one that saw the demos for and thought I want to play that.
I saw that and I really, really like Res is one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm like, I would lose so much gamer cred if I bought the Kinect. And I have a reputation to keep.
Yeah, you do.
As a
You
hardcore
just gotta
gamer.
go home and play that Wii instead.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, I'm picking up Metroid. Does that make it a little bit more hardcore?
No.
No.
Metroid isn't hardcore.
No,
Dude.
no, none of those are. Metroid was hardcore in like 1991. It's no longer nothing that is a Nintendo franchise game is hardcore. Nothing Nintendo is hardcore anymore.
Hey, Pokemon's hardcore. Didn't you know that? Well, actually, it's serious business.
Serious business. But I mean, they had the thing in No More Heroes would waggle around, look at your Moe poster, waggle around some more.
I wasn't waggling anything while I was playing No More. That sentence probably couldn't have come out any wronger than that.
Are they ever going to release the 360 or PS3 version of the No More Heroes over here?
Not that I know of. No publishers picked it up yet.
That seems like a bummer because I'd like to play that game with buttons.
You know, the
it just
Wii
seemed
does
kinda
have
boring. That game did. You spent a lot of time running around, and there's nobody else in the city.
Well, I think more of it is just the combat itself does get repetitive after a while, but I think John's more into it for the story since it's
For the
Super 51.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Killer 7, and there was a lot of that game that was boring.
And he is one of the two people that really like Killer 7. So, Steve, anything coming out in the near future that you want?
Yeah, well, how near of the future?
In the next month or so.
Next month or so?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No. Looking forward to Fallout Las Vegas, though.
Well, that's coming out, what, October?
October or November?
No, it's I think it's
that.
before Black Friday. I think it's
Well,
October.
October, November. If it's October, it's late October.
Yeah.
Definitely been seeing him trying to get people to pick up the collector's edition.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will pick up Fallout New Vegas, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to pick it up now when I know that less than a year down the line, they're going to come out with the Game of the Year edition with all the add-ons. I'm like, I might just wait for that and save myself some money.
But yeah, their Game of the Year editions are always really good value.
Well, how long did it take before the Fallout 3 Game of the Year came out?
I think it was like 2 years.
Really?
That's how long it took them to put out all the DLC.
Yeah,
they
because
made.
I got Fallout 3 almost a year after it came out, and then I lost one of the discs, and so I bought the Game of the Year version like 3 or 4 months ago. So,
And the Oblivion Game of the Year one was also like 2 years after. It takes them a long time because they keep making content for a long time.
I have the
Well,
original
they also have to
Oblivion
make
sitting right
patches to make sure it's not broken.
Well, and then they had to patch the patches,
Yeah.
fix their downloadable content that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's a tradition, though. I mean, Bethesda can't make a non-buggy game.
Well, but once they get it ironed out, it's usually a pretty darn good game.
Yeah.
Plus, on the PC, you can do all the mods and stuff. So
True.
Yeah.
Okay. And
some pretty cool mods finally out for now that Fallout 3 is a couple years old. There's some pretty darn cool mods out there.
And me, I'm just looking forward to
The mods that are out for Oblivion. There's some crazy ass extensive mods that are out for Oblivion.
I can believe that.
I'm waiting for Fate's Day Night for the move.
There's a for Fallout 3. There's a mod that turns it into an FPS.
Huh.
Yeah.
Just like a
strips out
straight
all
up FPS, all the role playing stuff is gone.
It's there, but it's so de-emphasized that it doesn't really matter. it sets the respawn for enemies to be much higher in the zones and stuff like that, so that when you're wandering around, it makes it so that you're on Fallout when you try to do stuff outside of VATS and it's not very accurate, even though you're aiming at stuff. Fixes all that crap up, so it's actually you're aiming and stuff. I haven't played it yet, but apparently it's it's in like version 1.7 point something or other, and so apparently it's pretty buggy.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else we need to add before we end this thing?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more Alan Thicke references? Because I need to come up with something for the Photoshop.
It's Faith Stay Night Connect, dude. It is.
Yeah, you just need the Connectimals hands and the Fate Stay Night picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to do that.
Toho or Mega 10, one of the three.
Toho for oh god, that would suck.
Yeah.
For Connect.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I want to play Phantasmagoria Flower View on the Connect.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Persona Connect.
No. I had to actually think about that for a minute. It's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, your source for Moe games on the Kinect. Hentai games coming out on the move.
Thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.